Regardless of controversy, there is no doubt that a lot of care and hard work went into some aspects of Fallout 76. One such area of the game is the map. Fallout 76 offers one of the best game worlds of the whole series, in my opinion, and if you take the time to look around, odds are you will find something that appeals to your sense of adventure. And if you want to show off how good your sense of adventure is, subscribe to the channel now for more content like this. I wouldn't want to have to wipe all of the Fallout 76 servers over this, so let's make it happen. Among the giant playable area of Fallout 76 lies a plethora of spooky locations, just ripe for the exploring. From unassuming dwellings to deep underground hideouts, Fallout 76 offers some of the best and subtle horror that the Fallout universe has seen. In this video, I will be going over 10 super spooky Fallout 76 locations. Hugging the Ohio River is one of the most famous towns in West Virginia. Point Pleasant was a tiny, quiet town that served mostly as a rest stop pre-war, gaining notoriety for its Mothman Museum, which chronicled the most famous of the cryptids that call West Virginia home. Post-war saw the town be overrun by raiders, who would control the area until pushed out by the responders. The city would remain under responders' control until Appalachia fell to the Scorched. Shortly after, the zombie-like hive mind would run the streets. These days, the compact settlement is home to Mothman cultists, who attack anyone who approaches on sight. Black roots entangle the city, twisting the architecture to look more like the set of a horror movie than a quaint town. Point Pleasant has a sad history, and it seems an even bleaker future. Its affiliation with Mothman has made it a target for these crazies, and they don't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. Among the shells of former buildings lies the Silver Bridge, perhaps the most infamous site of Mothman activity. The bridge collapsed during rush hour, killing dozens of people. It still remains today, shattered, a reminder that life will probably never be the same. And if you want to stand out to the cult of the Mothman, you should check out these killer Mothman designs on the TKs-Mantis shop now. How will you be accepted into the eternal light of the Mothman if you aren't rocking his gear? The link is in the description below. Like the previously mentioned Point Pleasant, the next entry on the list, Kanawha County Cemetery, is a hotbed of cultist activity, but unlike the last spot, it was so pre-war as well. Around the Great War, the town residents came to the Kanawha Church to complete a suicide pact. They would drink water laced with rat poison together, and the result is pretty predictable. But this has increased interest in the area for the Mothman cultists that call Appalachia home. The sprawling cemetery is spooky enough without the crazed cultists stomping around the place. The church itself is tangled with the same black roots that seem to accompany the cultists wherever they set up shop. But you aren't dull enough to go rooting around a cemetery filled with loonies, are you? The Alpine River cabins off Highway 88 at first glance seem pretty unassuming, until you feel the ground shake or hear the faint scream of a woman in the distance. Maybe you go into one of the cabins and the pictures start spinning on the wall. Something clearly isn't right here. While most people would assume this area is haunted by some kind of ghost that just might really love camping, the truth is a bit stranger than that. Many of the pre-war guests shared complaints about the various hauntings. One can even be found still on site. With a little snooping around, we can find a terminal that sheds some light on what is going on. The computer is responsible for every strange thing that is happening in the cabins. Odds are, this was one of those haunted attractions, offering people a night of frights. Though perhaps not everyone was privy to this, which is why we find complaints. Regardless, the first time you visit Alpine River, you will likely not forget it. Acting as a popular hangout for gulpers, the aptly named Gulper Lagoon has a bit more to it than meets the eye. Of course, the gulpers that infest the region are reason enough to be a little creeped out about this place. The red vines that have invaded the area help out a lot too. What earns this lagoon a place on the list are the many human bones and remains that can be found around the area. It's a mystery if these people met their fate due to the Great War or if they were simply picked clean by these gulpers. But this is one hell of a final resting place. The deeper the hole, the creepier it gets. And when it comes to deep holes, the Big Maw is king. This pit formed naturally in the mire, but has been used for unnatural things since the Great War. Guarded by floaters, Big Maw offers a descent into an underground pond of sorts. Inside, we can find that the cultists have turned the hole into their own personal sacrificial chamber. A body lies on the podium with one of the Mothman cultists' horrifying statues overlooking it. If it isn't the floater infestation that'll scare away most explorers, the human sacrifice vibes usually are enough. Watch your step going down. It might be the last descent you ever make. Like many locations in the wasteland, the Carson family bunker is filled with sadness. On the outside, it would appear to be an unassuming bunker like many that can be found post-war. Digging deeper, we find that the owner, Caleb Carson, built this bunker after joining the Free States before the Great War. Caleb was a father of 2 living in Berkeley Springs. The town became very angry that Caleb had joined the Free States and started building a bunker. They thought that that effort could go into helping Berkeley Springs. This led to the community banning the Carson family from the Harpers Ferry Medical Clinic, preventing Caleb's wife Elizabeth from getting the medications she desperately needed. Caleb's family would die, and blaming himself for putting so much effort into the Free States, he would take his own life. This bunker acts as another somber reminder that life will deal you the cards at once. It's up to you how we play the hand. One of the most mysterious locations in the wasteland, Lucky Hole Mine acts as a major sanctuary for the Mothman cultists. The cult harassed the mine workers for access but were denied 3 times, eventually making their way into the lower depths. The twisting tunnels of the mine can become confusing for those not familiar with it. The walls are covered with the same roots that we have found in every location occupied by the cult. An altar has been placed deep within the mine where the cult of the Mothman worship and perform other strange activities. But going deeper into the cave, we can find a burial chamber surrounded by giant stone faces with an odd, large, moving root in the center of it. This is known as the Interloper, and it apparently has foreseen the coming of the cult. The firstborn of the wood does appear to be human-like in appearance, with a collapsed skull and multiple disfigured arms coming from its back. This creepy creature should be enough to sway even the bravest of spelunkers, but the cult of the Mothman will make sure that no one even gets close. Out in the Cranberry Bog lies a shantytown known as Lost Home, a small shelter built before the Great War by a man named Parker and his daughter Kelly. This large home offered great refuge for the two leading up to when the bombs fell. After the war, Kelly was afflicted with a severe bout of radiation sickness. Being the provider that he was, Parker set out to get medical help for his daughter. During his departure, their home was attacked by wild dogs, and Kelly would be eaten alive. Now, we find various settlers calling this place home, seemingly unaware of the terrible heartbreak that took place here in the not-too-distant past. Parker's dedication to his daughter was admirable, even if the wasteland is a harsh place sometimes. Established in the early 19th century, the small town of Flatwoods acts as a beautiful set piece to Appalachia. Under the New River Gorge Bridge's shadow, the settlement would gain fame due to the Flatwoods monster incident. Many people would report seeing a strange creature, so much so that the town became known for the sightings. Flatwoods is surprisingly untouched by the bombs. Mostly intact, it acts as a haven for scavenging parties and raiders alike. The city makes the list due to its history with the fabled Flatwoods monster, as well as how it has remained eerily intact since the Great War. If it's one thing that is unsettling in the Fallout universe, it is stumbling upon an out-of-place town, the one that doesn't seem to realize that the world is over. Flatwoods is far from that scenario, but it does stand out for the lack of damage. Aside from the legend of the monster, it's a spooky find in any wasteland. Anytime a nuke is launched in Fallout 76, it causes untold destruction. What is left behind is known as a blast zone. High levels of radiation blanket the area, and visually it turns into an actual hellscape. Among the high levels of radiation, the strongest creatures in the wastes emerge from these areas, now mutated by the wanton destruction of war. Power armor is required for anyone who wishes to stand a chance near the blast center of these bombs. It seems like the lessons the Great War brought with it are still lost decades after the destruction. The blast zones are a reminder of the toll these weapons have taken on life itself. When targeting the right area, a blast this size is enough to wake up a Scorchbeast queen, the dragon of the post-war, the most terrible beast to emerge from the bombs. Mankind will never truly learn. Thank you for checking out my video about the spooky locations of Fallout 76. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this. It helps the channel out a lot. I want to thank my patrons and YouTube channel members, and a special thanks to my biggest supporters: Fireflare, JP Rivera, Primark Mustard, Edgy, Bill Scott Sheets, Alexander Cobb, Thomas, Papa Swanson, Billy Joe Jim Bob, and Mr. Z. Thanks again for watching. Stay spooky out there. I will catch you on the next one. It has been Mantis.
What is that? Is that you, Mantis?
That's mine.
Holy
That's mine.
shit, look at you. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't fuck around. And then it does all that fire damage too. GG.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon'